Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's very nice to be with you here again in our podcast. With okay, it's very nice that we meet once a month. I wish if I can come like more, but I can't. I mean, thank God. And then I'm happy that we have so many people today. That's nice. That's really nice. And then today we're talking about a very interesting and very good topic. We're very happy welcoming George to the meeting. George is here, live with us. Not connected yet? Connected? Today, got to know who is Isaac in the Bible, in the Old Testament, in the book of Genesis. Talks about we took Noah's Ark, and then Noah became the new world, him and his family, and then the new family brought new people. They all spread it all over the earth. They grow up and they bear new kids and everything like that. Who became the first person that really the prophet and the father of all the prophets came afterwards as a generation and start to have the good relationship with the Lord? Abraham. Okay, Abraham was the father of the fathers. Okay, who created all the people. Thank you. All the people of the Jews later on. But Abraham was the man of God. I mean, somebody said I'm bringing colorful pictures. It's like 5 graders, but I just wanted to make the content really attractive, nice and simple. So we get 5-6 facts from the whole thing. I can talk about it for half a day, but we wanted to do it in 30 minutes. So it's simple facts, points, with the colorful pictures. You remember the thing, you remember everything, and then we can go home learning the main topics we wanted to gain from the picture or from the whole thing. So anybody knows anything about Abraham? Who's Abraham?
He was about to sacrifice Isaac.
Oh, okay, so he was the father of Isaac.
Yes.
And he was asked by God to sacrifice Isaac.
That's the vision of the Messiah.
Keep that info a little bit longer, okay? So, did Abraham was easy to have many kids, or did Abraham had many kids and then it was the Lord gave him everything and all that, and then eventually he was sacrifice one of your kids, or what was the story? Anybody remember?
He asked God to give a son, and he would do everything and anything he asked for. And as soon as he got the son, told him to sacrifice it for him.
Okay,
And
so he didn't easily have a son. He
Yes.
had hard time to bear kids. However, he was a very righteous man. He was really related to the Lord. He's really loves the Lord, and he does everything, and he connected to the Lord. Even all the peoples around him, where the Palestinians, different groups, different tribes, different people, they're all worshiping idols. They do whatever they want. They're all in different situations. They're away from God. Even his family, they lived in different parts of where he lived. He lived very close to the area of Jerusalem, or this area that it wasn't really established back then. It was all desert. But many of these lands were good for planting and cultivation, and then that's what he was doing for a living, basically just planting, and then animals and all the crops and all these things. And the Lord blessed him. The Lord gave him so much stuff. He became very rich. He was the richest all over the areas around him and all over the people. So the blessings of the Lord were really you can tell this person, he had so many people working for him, so many. He had so many servants and people serving him and his wife, so many maids for the house, but they were still living in tombs. They weren't living in houses. They were moving a lot, but they were still living in tombs. And then he grew up in the time, and then he grew up in his age, and he became almost 68 years. Abraham, at the age of 68, him and his wife Sarah. Sarah was called Sarai at the beginning, but the Lord changed her name to Sarah. And then eventually Sarah gave him some bad counsel. And then this is a fact that we should learn from the story is, if the Lord is delaying something in your life, do not seek human counseling or human solutions to something the Lord may be stopping for your life to happen later on. And this is what happened. Like Sarah was like, the Lord is not giving us children. How about you take my servant Hajar and then have her as a wife, and then she'll give you children. And then he listened to the counsel of that, and then the Lord didn't really agree on this, but the Lord didn't tell him not to do that. So he eventually did that, and he took her as a wife, and then Hajar gave him a kid, gave him a child. Anybody know what's the name of that child? Ishmael. Okay, and then if you read in the chapter, as far as I remember, 16, she became pregnant, and then eventually she was giving, definitely her attitude and her ethics wasn't really the best. So even though she was serving Sarah, she started to feel like, I'm better than you, and now I can have kids and you don't, and all that good stuff that she was doing. Eventually, she started to give her a hard time, and then she asked, and then she went back and complained to Abraham and asked her to kick her out. She kicked her out, and he kicked her out of the house, and then she gave birth to the kid, and then the kid was the Lord told her, you will give birth to this kid, and then he's gonna be hostile, and then he's really hard to deal with, and then he will be against anybody that he sees, and anybody he sees, all the other peoples will be against him, even though he was also a son of Abraham. But after going forward in the age, the Lord came and visited Abraham. After that, by I would say 6-7 years, he was over 90 years, about to be 100. The Lord came and visited him and visited Sarah, and then the Lord told him, next year, by this time, you will have a son. Then Sarah laughed in the back when she heard that, because she was like almost 85 or 90 years, and he was about 100 years. And then how come people at that age can give birth to a kid? It was something not logical. But is there anything impossible for the Lord? Nothing, right? So the Lord just told her, why you keep laughing? And the Lord asked her, what should she laugh? And then she denied that she laughed, but actually she laughed. And then eventually, that's the meaning of the name of Isaac. Isaac means laughter. So she called him Isaac because Isaac means laughter, because the Lord gave her laughter after the years of being deprived of kids, or not having any kids. And then she was like so happy and everything. Isaac, what we're talking about, the question I'm asking everybody here, Isaac is a symbol of what? Just think about it, and then the answer to that question at the end of the class or the session. Okay? So Isaac represents a symbol of somebody else who's gonna come again. Okay? But think, shh. It's a question at the end. Everybody will answer the question, okay? But think about it. Who will be like Isaac? Or what Isaac did, or how his life looked like, to represent who's coming in the future. Okay? So it's a question. If you think about it and keep thinking of the incidents that's happening, and about it, you will definitely answer that question really good. So the story of Isaac, basically Genesis starts Genesis chapter 21 to 27.
31.
Huh?
To 31.
To 31. So the end of it is 31. But different chapters and times in his life. The first thing is the 21st is his birth. We're not gonna stop. I mean, I basically mentioned it, and then we're not gonna stop at that so long. But we wanted to read Genesis 22, 7 and 8. I put it in there so anybody can read it. But going forward, we're gonna ask some other verses. We need it to be looked in the Bible. So please bring your Genesis on the phone or anything. Or if you need a Bible, we can bring the Bible. Ashan, we need some people to read for us. Okay? Okay? So
Sorry,
who can
you're
read us?
You're right, we're after 27, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Because
it's
Jacob-
just 21st to the 27th. So I wish, and I beg you, please take that as an exercise. Read Genesis 21st to 27. It's so simple, no hard language, nice stories, but we're gonna learn so much of it. I passed one of the chapters for the marriage of Isaac because that by itself can take a whole day, a separate session, because it's really important. She said no, but I definitely disagree with that. It's definitely important, and we have to take it on another day by itself because we can learn so much, helping every one of us in the future how to choose your future spouse, and then what we're looking for, and how the Lord helped the person who went to find the bride, and he was successful because of what he did. So that's a whole different time we can take it again. But who's gonna read us Genesis 22, 7 and 8? It's already in there. It could be small, but I can make it a little bit bigger. Better. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I don't have my glasses.
طب اختار الجنة.
Okay. Isaac spoke and said to his father Abraham, "Father." "Yes, my son," Abraham replied. "The fire and wood are here," Isaac said, "but where is the lamb for the burnt offering?" Abraham answered, "God himself will provide the lamb for the burnt offering, my son." And the two of them went on together.
Okay. So as Yusuf mentioned, the Lord started to test Abraham for how precious his son is and how precious his Abraham relationship to the Lord, and which is on top of the other. And then if you keep when you read the story and then you keep imitating on it, you will have a lot of emotions, a lot of things, a lot of feelings, and it's a test of faith. It's not just go kill your son and it's so easy, and it could be anyway. But from those two verses, like the Lord gave him a command: you're gonna take your son, the one you love, the one you waited for a long time, and then take him to the area where I will show you, and you will offer him as an offering, burnt offering for me. How hard is this? How hard is that question or that test? Will you be able to sacrifice anything that you love for some time? If, let's say, Abuna told you, you're gonna give chocolate because you might be fasting, but you're still eating chocolate during the Lent. Isn't that a test? I'm talking to myself.
Wait, repeat your question. Repeat what you're saying. I don't get what you're trying to say.
The test. The Lord asked Abraham to go and sacrifice his son.
Yes.
Is that something hard or easy?
I mean, as humans, no, it's hard.
Not what?
Huh?
Not what? As humans, what?
It's hard.
It's hard.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. But we're not focusing on Abraham. We're focusing on Isaac. What do you understand from the personality of Isaac from those two verses? Like Isaac was already taken by his dad, and then they're traveling. They travel 3 days, by the way. Walking 3 days. and they took 2 kids of the servants with them. They grabbed all the woods and everything that they need for the offering, for the altar. And then after that, he took him on the donkey and he put all the woods on him, like the first picture. That's exactly like what happened. And then they kept walking, and the Lord told them, like, keep the other servants here, and he keep walking for another day. They walked another day, and then he built the altar, prepared everything, and then Isaac asked him, Dad, who's gonna be the offering? Where is the offering? We have everything except the offering. And then Abraham answered the question. The Lord will find himself in the offering. Did he complain? He didn't, right? Did he say, no, is it too dangerous? You're trying to do something bad to me? Nothing. So what do you understand how obedient this kid? He wasn't like a kid. He was like a teenager, or like could be like a young adult. Like this represents a very, very nice person, a very faithful person, and a person who really believed in his dad, and that faith was already taken and given by the dad to him. He was raised on that faith. In other words, like the dad realized and really believed in himself that he's gonna go home with the kid safe and everything, even if he was killed, even if he was offered. But the Lord is able to raise him back from the dead. And from that, the depths of that faith, he was already like, why not? I can do anything the Lord asks, because the Lord, you do everything to the Lord, anything to the Lord. Nothing is precious more than the Lord or the demand of the Lord. Even if he does that, he knows the Lord, because of the experience in his life. The Lord doesn't do something bad. It could be that way, it could look that way, but eventually the Lord turns everything, even if it looks bad, to the good. Anybody has anything to share about it? Or what would you understand, what's your comment about Isaac and his personality from that situation?
He didn't refuse, he didn't say no, he just accepted the situation.
Whatever you say, very, very, very peaceful person. That will come again, and you'll understand how this is a very nice and peaceful person who really loved the others and then believed in God and then continued. By the way, this time there wasn't church, there was scriptures, there wasn't fathers of confessions, there wasn't anything. It was just the Lord talks to his father, and then his father is really righteous, he follows the commands, and then he taught him how to do everything and stuff like that. So, and in the area they live around, the people who live in, that they live in with, they're all worshiping idols. They do all kind of evils. They ignore God. But do you know those people are really blessed because they have a good God and he takes care of them and he blesses them for anything they do. That's why they're very rich and they're stronger than us. And if you read from 21st, 27, you'll understand how strong Abraham and Isaac were, and Isaac eventually after Abraham died, and things happened afterward. So Abraham responds, please read 9 and 10. Can you open 9 and 10? Genesis 22nd, 9 and 10. Anybody start together an idea who is Isaac's symbol of? Just don't answer, keep it to the end.
Did you find an idea?
No, I have some trouble. Okay.
9 and 10?
Yeah, what's her name? She's gonna
Okay.
read. 9 and 10.
Then they came to the place of which God had told Then they came to the place of which God had told him, and Abraham built an altar there and placed the wood in order, and he bound Isaac his son and laid him on the altar upon the wood. And Abraham stretched out his hand and took the knife to slay his son.
Okay, so That's the response, and that's the we basically covered that part. I'm gonna go forward. But Abraham believed, did everything. I remember Amba Musa, the bishop of youth, he was just saying like, it could be like, I'm believing God is not gonna hurt me or hurt my son, so I'm gonna go do everything and then go and then raise my hand with the knife, but Lord, I'm not gonna put it down. No, I can't. I'm not gonna stop at this point. No, he raised it and he was about to do it. So it was that point, like when he's about to, slay him, the Lord called him, no, stop, and look around. Because he did that, see what the response is, or what the consequence. And the one after, the Lord's reaction to Abraham Isaac test and the consequences. That's Genesis 22, 11 and 12, and 15 and 17. We can read just those four verses. Okay? Can we read that, please? Erica? ما معكش glasses? Okay. Jenna, can you read for us? 11 and 12.
Okay, but the angel of the Lord called to him from heaven and said, Abraham, Abraham. So he said, Here I am. And he said, Do not lay your hand on the lad, or do anything to him. For now I know that you fear God, since you have not withheld your son.
Withhold your son.
Your only son from me.
Okay. So the Lord stopped them from hurting the kid, and then told them, now I know how strong your faith, how much you fear. I mean, the idea of like fear God or like have faith in God is basically the same. So when we talk about fearing God, is just that there is the same with Noah. When we talked about Noah was the only one who had faith, and because he had faith and know that Lord doesn't lie, he does what he says, and then he's right and he's just and everything. So whatever he's telling is gonna happen. That's why he had the fear of God. So the people who are really faithful are the people who really fear God, because they believe in God. Like when we tell anybody out there, there is heaven, there is stuff, there is hell, there is a punishment. I could be a very good person. I don't have to believe in what you said. It's basically unfaithfulness. He just wanted to use his free will, or anybody wanted to use his free will and be on his own. I don't have to believe in whatever you're telling me, but I'm a good person. That's it. But it's basically denying the faith and denying how God has all the salvation and everything. Not our topic today, but it's basically important because the Lord told him that you fear me or you fear the Lord, now you will be blessed. Numbers 15 and 17, please. Can you read it? 15 and 17, Genesis 22, 15 and 17. And that's the response, what the Lord did for the people who feared him. So Abraham and Isaac, both of them, didn't deny the request, and they had faith in God, and the Lord, they had faith that everything will turn in a good way. And now this is the response from God. That God is promising them or giving them the good stuff.
Then the angel of the Lord called to Abraham a second time out of heaven, and said, By myself I have sworn, says the Lord, because you have done these things, and have not withheld your son, your only son. Blessing I will bless, and multiplying I will multiply your descendants as the stars of the heaven, and as the sand which is on the seashore. And your descendants shall possess the gate of their enemies.
Okay, so you will find this expression a lot when the Lord is just trying to give a huge promise, a strong promise. The Lord swears, but what I mean, as in the commandment, do not swear with the Lord or whatever the earth, the heaven and the earth, because He can change anything. It's not in your power. But the Lord's trying to swear by a very strong way, and then He swears by Himself, because He's the unlimited the Almighty God who everlasting, like nothing is not no comparable. So he swears by himself. By himself, I will bless you. Your sons will be like as the stars of the heaven, as the sand of the seashore. And then this is the blessings. And then it's not only that. Abraham and Isaac were the richest in their lifetime. Even you're gonna find that in the coming story with the life of Isaac, how strong they were and how rich they were. So that fulfills the part where it says the verse that says اطلبوا أولا ملكوت الله وبره. Just ask, just seek the Lord, the heaven, the kingdom of God, and everything will be given to you. That's it. So because they fear God and they have faith, they were given everything. And that's an important. I just listened, when I was preparing, I was listening to a priest, and he mentioned something about Abuna Fenos. And then I don't think many of you have seen Abuna Fenos or experienced him. He was a very, very righteous monk. Very he grew up in the time, he died like almost 90 years. And he was always presenting himself as the idiot, the ding dongs who really doesn't know anything. And people come and he pretends to be that way, but he's really righteous. And he was like one of the people who really flies from areas to areas, and you can find them in Europe, and he helps somebody in the south, in the upper Egypt anyway. So he was in the hospital, and Abuna, who was telling the story, was a doctor at this hospital. And before he became Abuna, before he was ordained, and he was taking care of Abuna Fenos. And then Abuna Fenos, anybody comes to ask him for something, people always come and ask, please pray for me so I can get a new job. Please pray for me so I have a problem and so and so. So he answers in a way like somebody is asking for a job. He said, "Yeah, you're gonna give me some coke. You're gonna buy me some coke when you get the job, okay?" And then it's stuff like that. So Abuna was telling how he's behaving in response to that. But only one person came back and asked him one question, and he didn't do that with this person. This person came and asked him to pray for him so he can go to heaven and have repentance and then go to heaven. And then when he heard that, he didn't do any of these things. He just stood up, and then he told him, "Yes, come, I will pray for you." And he prayed for him perfectly. So is Abuna share on this? He knows that anything, this is the most faithful person, or the person who really knows, ask for the best thing. If you ask for the kingdom of heaven, that's the one, that's the most wise, the most wise of everybody asks. Ask for the kingdom of heaven and everything else will come to you. It's just the Lord promised that way. So that's what happened with Isaac and Abraham until this point. If you continue reading between 23rd, chapter 23rd, 24th, Abraham died, Sarah died first, and then Abraham died, and then Isaac started to grow up and he got married. The part of marriage, we're not gonna stop at it because I need a full day for it. But Isaac was, as I said, he was a very nice person, fears God, peaceful, and then that's gonna come in this point. Isaac and the Philistines or whatever, they had a give and take back and forth. He was married already and he was rich, but he had to move, and he moved and he lived in the area where Abraham, his dad, went to live with Abimelech Bel-Arabi, was the king of the Palestinians, and they had a give and take with him. So we wanted to, for the sake of time, Genesis 26 from 1 to 9. It's a full part together, and then we'll talk about it. Okay? مين اللي هيقرا؟ في حد من George, can you read for us with a military voice so everybody can hear us, man? Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
very sick.
Okay, لا read it from
There was a famine in the land beside the first famine that was in the days of Abraham. And Isaac went to Abimelech, king of the Philistines in Gerar. Then the Lord appeared to him and said, "Do not go down to Egypt. Live in the land of which I shall tell you. Dwell in this land, and I will be with you and bless you. For to you and your descendants I give all these lands, and I will perform the oath which I swore to Abraham your father. And I will make your descendants multiply as stars of heaven. I will give to your descendants all these lands, and in your seed all the nations of the earth shall be blessed. Because Abraham obeyed my voice and kept my charge, my commandment, my statutes, and my laws. So Isaac dwelt in Gerar, and the men of the place asked about his wife, and he said, She's my sister, for he was afraid to say, She's my wife, because he thought, lest the men of this place kill me for Rebekah, because she is beautiful to behold. Now it came to pass when he had been there for a long time, that Abimelech, king of the Philistines, looked through a window and saw, and there was Isaac showing endearment to Rebekah, his wife. Then Abimelech called Isaac and said, Quite obviously she is your wife, so how could you say she's my sister? Isaac
Is
said
that 9 or you passed it?
No, this is 9.
This is 9? Okay.
Isaac said to him, Because I said, lest I die on account of her.
Okay. So, did you guys get what happened? So, there's a famine in the earth. However, the Lord keeps repeating. Why are you laughing? The Lord keep repeating His promise of blessing Isaac, multiply him as the stars, give him riches, even if all the area around him is like dying and famine and no water, no starvation everywhere and all that. He still promised him to be blessed. However, so the Old Testament basically represents the relationship between God and every righteous person, start from Adam going forward until the end of the prophets. All those people, they're humans. They have weaknesses. So now at this point, he committed another mistake. He made a mistake. And that mistake is repeated actually.
Like father and
Okay?
son.
Because who did that mistake before? Who made that mistake before?
What is the mistake?
Somebody's married and he goes to visit some other people and he's afraid to be killed because of her. So he says she's a sister.
It says directly
So
as his sister,
if you're the
not his
wife, how the wife should feel?
Don't tell me if I'm the wife. That's
No, I mean just.
He's not telling you, he's telling us.
If you're in the shoes of
deceived.
if you're in the shoes of the wife, how do you feel?
I feel like I've been let down.
betrayed.
Yeah.
He threw her under the bus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of wife, I need a sister.
Like, I mean, I don't care if she get killed. I mean, they take her, but I don't want to get killed, right?
I mean, he still loves her.
Absolutely, yeah, he still loves her.
Sister.
I mean, the Lord, and then because the Lord knows them, like they're good people, but that could be just a mistake and a weakness. The Lord intervenes and saves the situation. Okay, so that's a repeated mistake, and it happened before, and then Abraham did it twice, by the way. But Abraham had an excuse. Why? I mean, it's not really full 100% excuse, because Sarah was his sister, but not full like 100% sister. She wasn't like his.
A stepsister,
Yeah, she was like a stepsister. Okay. But back in the days, it was okay to marry a stepsister because there weren't enough people and stuff like that. But this situation, and actually I didn't know that situation until I prepared. Like, I learned so much about Isaac and how good he is. That we're not saying anything bad about Isaac. We're saying he's a human being, and every human being has weakness. Okay, but if you're engaged and your fiance says that or does something to what are you gonna do? هيبقى يومه اسود. ده ابسط الامور.
ده في
Okay.
يوم اساسا ده لو لسه عايش.
Yeah, if they decide to continue.
Yes, exactly. We gotta miss him a lot يعني.
However, that also gives us a good impression about how Rebecca was good. She was a really nice person. She didn't say anything. And then we will focus on Rebecca when we talk about the marriage incident, how that happened. By the way, do you know this incident happened with Abraham and this incident happened with Isaac? And the wedding in our church, wedding ceremony, and then what the church said. The Abuna starts to give commandment to the bride and to the groom. All right. When he gives commandment to the bride, he says what? You should obey him and call him sir or master, as Sarah was calling Abraham. Why those particular couple were mentioned in the wedding? يعني that's سؤال متجاوب. I'm just giving you the question which I answered earlier. ليه بقى؟
He's old.
ليه? It's really important for you guys to know this. That's why we have these sessions and this, because we're learning and we wanted to build our knowledge, because knowledge is power, and then it's good to build our relationship with God. ليه؟ يعني just يعني pump
انت
it.
بتسأل
pump it.
اشمعنى ابراهيم وساره؟
Why those couple in particular were mentioned in the wedding ceremony?
Where other partner were like
ما
good to each other.
كان I mean
ما جابوش رفقة قالت حاجة.
Rebecca and Isaac, she loved them so much, and she had 2 kids and everything. She was really also righteous and everything. Why those in particular?
ابراهيم ابو الاباء.
No,
إيه؟
Not enough.
حد يشجع.
not enough.
قول أي حاجة.
Any idea?
بما ان
Any
انتوا
idea?
رجاله يعني وكده وبتفرحوا بالحته دي قوي لما تسمعوا كلام.
She was calling him master and obeying him and everything. Alright? And then he made a mistake twice, okay? And she was still respect him and consider everything for him. She was really loving and considerate.
Yeah, females should respect you no matter what kind of situation.
Kinda, yeah, we're very close. We're very close.
I'm very sexist.
No. Actually, it's biblical. It's a biblical.
Really?
Yeah. Because she respected him in any situation. So at this situation, was he right?
No, but
He wasn't, right? He wasn't right. Was he right?
she still
No.
gotta respect even if he's
He was scared for himself, not for her, right? He didn't worry about her much. Well, let's say things that the Lord didn't really save her. He could have taken her as a slave or a wife or like whatever, or concubine. They call concubine, concubine, whatever. And then that's it. She's gone. What is gonna happen now? He's gonna leave. But because her righteousness, and she respected him even he was wrong, the church put that example to be how the bride should be. You respect your husband in any situation, obey him in any situation, even if he's wrong. That doesn't mean you should obey him when he's wrong. I mean, he could be wrong, but not against the Lord. If he's really wrong against the Lord, you don't obey. But respect is the most important one. So respect, even in a bad situation when he was wrong. So that's a very important point. You guys should learn about it.
hear that? So even if we're wrong or whatever, you guys have to respect.
Respect.
Exactly.
We don't have to respect, but
You respect us back.
Yeah.
I'm doubting if like he's okay, but he could be very tired or he's very tired. Okay. So the same mistake happened again. The same mistake happened again. He did it again. He didn't learn from that. Maybe he was young. He didn't experience that, but he repeated that. But the Lord, because he loved them, the Lord loves them both. He saved the situation, and then eventually the guys figured out this is his wife. This is not his sister. It doesn't look like that. And then he brought him back, and then the king of Gerar brought him back and told him, you could have brought us in evil. You could have brought evil on us, and brought blood of this person on us, and caused the Lord to cause the Lord to punish us, and we didn't do anything. So you stay away from us. And he gave him a lot of riches, a lot of animals, a lot of sheep, a lot of stuff, and land to plant and everything. And God told him, we're not going to touch you. And then he gave a decree. The king gave a decree for all the people and himself. Nobody touches Isaac or his wife, and they're very like kind of protected under him. And then what happened is, mostly because he realized that was a mistake, and definitely he repented. The verse right after this, by the way, right after that situation, the Lord blessed him. He started to plant the land he was given, and then the Lord blessed him at this year in particular, and he was given 100-fold. Another explanation from the father who like I listened to, that's the consequence of repentance. Definitely he repented, and he realized that he had a mistake, a strong mistake, but because he repented and he was a righteous man, and that could be a weakness, and everybody had weakness, so the Lord gave him 100-fold and everything. And then the people of the Palestinian came back and told him, hey, you became way stronger than us. You need to take everything and stay away or leave. Did he fight? Do you want to know if he fought or not? Can we read Genesis 26, 12 and 14? And we're done. Genesis 26, 12 and 14. Genesis 26, 12 and 12 to 14.
I don't have energy.
He's dying.
Then Isaac sowed in that land and reaped in the same year 100-fold, and the Lord blessed him. The man began to prosper and continued prospering until he became very prosperous, for he had possessions of flocks and possessions of herds and a great number of servants. So the Philistines envied him.
Yeah, so this guy, this guy's so rich. We can't stand him. He's blessed. And then when you continue reading, they told him, hey, you stay away from us. We can't stand you coming here. You became very stronger than us. Take everything and leave. And they kicked him out. He didn't fight. He said, I'm stronger. I might kick you all out. I will take my stuff. This is my land. He didn't do any of this. And that proves the point that he's a very peaceful person. He's a symbol of the person that we're going to mention at the end. And he didn't reply the hatred with hatred. He replied the hatred with good deeds. And then see the consequence of the Lord. After that, in order to give him a hard time, so when you have a hard time with your colleagues at work, people don't like you. They don't like the way you act, the way you talk, or anything that happens to you. It's okay. Leave it aside and then focus on the situation. How are you going to reply back in the situation? If some people hate you, don't reply hate by hatred. Just prove that you're Christian and give your Christian manners and values in the situation. And the Lord will see and give you back more than what you deserve and better than what happened. That situation came to me actually in a very good time because I needed to have that. They start to give him a hard time in a different way. Everything was based on the water, wells, okay? So his dad, Abraham, dug so many wells. Those wells were very rich in water. They can multiply and then plant so many fields. They came back and they dumped it all down. They killed the wells. They killed the wells for him. And then he started to dug. He went out and he left. And so he doesn't live with them anymore. He started to be far. He went back and dug those wells. And those wells would belong to his father. After he dug him and gave him new names, the same names that his father called him, they came back, the people from Gerar, the Palestinians, and told him, hey, the water is ours. It's not yours. Leave this wells. So after he dug the first well, they took it. He left it. Second well, they came and fight. He left it. the third will, and he called it the well of Bashaba, or هو بئر سبع بالعربي. It was very rich in water. They came to him, and this time he was like, hey, you want this one too? Take it. If you want it, take it. He wasn't really fighting or doing anything. He wasn't replying in any way. And on the matters that he's doing, he's really believing himself. The Lord is giving him more than everybody can believe or can think. At this point, they came back to him and didn't do the same thing. You know what they did? They came back and told him, hey, we realize that you're blessed and your God is protecting you. We're gonna have a decree between us that the king came to him, and the army leader came to him and told him, hey, we're gonna have a decree, neither us or any of our people will hurt you, and you also don't hurt us. Even though he didn't do anything to them. But we're not gonna come towards you, and you don't come towards us. And then when they came to him and he told them, why you already kicked me out and he hated me, why are you coming back to me? So they gave him that decree, and they had a peaceful situation. And because he's a nice person, he made a huge table for them, and he gave them a very, very huge banquet. Everybody just ate and they celebrate. So this situation is really you learn more about him, about Isaac, and how peaceful he was, how nice he was, how faithful. And he's a symbol of who? Who is a symbol? He is a symbol of who's coming after you. ما تجاوبش. هي دي fact. I want this fact. You have this fact, so if you got this fact, you understood everything. He represents somebody's coming back, later in the days. He represents who? Take a wild guess. Jesus. A wild guess. That's the wild guess. What I'm talking about. He represents Jesus. Jesus came to people to save the humanity, to save the human beings. He was sacrificed, but this time, the Father, the Lord, sacrificed His Son. He didn't do that with Abraham and Isaac because we are human. Maybe we can do that, but He took it on Himself. He was peaceful. He came to the people to save them. Like this week of the Lent, He came to the Samaritan woman. He went to her. She didn't seek Him. He went to see her. In a week or so, he went to see the guy who was paralyzed for 38 years. After that, he went to see the guy who didn't have eyes, who was born without eyes. Before the prodigal son, he represents the Lord represents the father who was waiting for his son. If you focus and read the prodigal son story, the father was waiting on the top, on the roof, waiting for the son to come. So that's the Lord, the peaceful God who takes everything on Himself. He's peaceful even if we do every bad deed. He accepted us, and He wants us to repent all the time, whatever we had done in a bad way or whatever. And He always gives us good situation, good consequences. And if you stay faithful to Him, that's an example. Isaac, Abraham, they were blessed, and they were very rich. So don't ask for the riches, ask for the faith, and the riches is gonna come.
You're going to speak about Jacob next?
لا احنا عايزين نتكلم على we talk about his marriage. It's a whole we have to read it and and talk about each verse because it's really strong, it's important, and you can learn how you choose in the future. The main idea behind it is how those people were also righteous, and the way they behaved, the Lord blessed them in their situation, and how to choose the groom and the bride. It's in both ways. Yeah, you choose and He chooses. So how they chose, and the Lord blessed them, and then make their way very successful in the choice. Okay, so it doesn't have to be next time. ممكن يكون later on. Yeah, we can schedule it and we can talk about it. Thank you for listening. I hope you liked it, and then I tried to simplify it as much as I could. I put some emojis and stuff in it. طيب نسمع الترنيمة. نسمع الترنيمة.